How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be looking at the top 5 absolute best factory Mustang engines. In my own opinion, it's not necessarily going to be the most powerful engines that have ever been in a Mustang, and it's not necessarily going to be the most iconic engines either. It's just simply my opinion. Let me know down in the comments below if I messed anything up, if I should have added another engine on this list. Again, it's only the top 5, so I'm sure that there's a couple more that are well deserving to go onto this list. But while you're down there, definitely be sure to leave a like on this video and also subscribe if you're new here to this channel. I post new automotive content daily, and also if you've been subscribed, click that little bell icon down there below. That actually helps notify you every time that I do post a new video. But starting off this list, right at number 5, we're actually going to be looking at the most powerful engine found in a factory Mustang, and that is the 5.2 liter Predator engine found in the 2020 to 2022 GT500s. Now, this 5.2 liter supercharged V8 is, again, the most powerful ever factory Mustang engine. It's found in the new GT500s, and it's simply like a perfect combination of modern technology and innovation with just brawn, muscle, and power. It's probably the most a well-engineered factory Mustang engine to date, and time after time this engine has proven to reliably make over 1,000 wheel horsepower when just slightly modified. So honestly, like, even though this engine really doesn't have much history and it is a new, platform, I would say that it's definitely deserves to be on my list of the top 10, factory Mustang engines ever made. Now, moving right along to number 4, we're pretty much going on opposite sides of the spectrum, and we're looking back to 1968 when the 428 Cobra Jet engine made its debut. Now, this engine was found in Mustangs between the years of 1968 and 1970, and it was essentially just another product of the golden age of muscle of like the late 1960s. And although officially it only made 335 horsepower on the book, that was just a lie from Ford, mainly due to insurance reasons and just selling the car legally. And it is well known to make over like at least 400 horsepower at the time and have plenty of more torque, because again, with 428 cubic inches, that much of displacement, it's going to produce an extremely high amount of torque. It also is just beat out by like the highest displacement Mustang engine ever made by the 429 cubic inch V8 that's found in the Boss 429s. However, they were both, I believe, built on the Ford Police Interceptor design, so it's kind of just like a marketing thing when you look at like 427, 428, and 429. Yes, they had different features, but still, the 428 Cobra Jet engine was probably, in my opinion, the best Mustang engine to come out of the 1960s and the first generation of the Ford Mustang. And again, it was essentially kind of built off the design of the Ford Police Interceptor engine, except this 428 Cobra Jet engine was essentially like a very minimally detuned NASCAR engine. It had a more beefier crankshaft, it had better connecting rods, and it also had a larger carburetor when directly compared to that Ford Police Interceptor engine of that time. Now, moving right along to the number 3 spot on this list, and also sticking in the decade of the 1960s, I gotta mention the 289 Windsor engine that was found in the original Mustangs up to the year 1967. Now, although technically it wasn't the very first V8 to be in a Ford Mustang, because starting in Dearborn, Michigan, the very first Mustang to roll off an assembly line with a V8 in it actually had the 260 engine. But for the first year of production, customers were able to get a 170 six-cylinder engine of the 260 V8 or the 289. So the 289 was essentially like the first like higher output engine really that Ford offered with the Mustang when, again, it was just like starting off. But this 289 Windsor engine is undoubtedly the most popular V8 to ever, come out of the first generation of the Mustang. Again, although it's not the highest outputs when compared to like stuff like the 427, 428, and 429 engines, it's certainly the most popular. Also, a little fun fact about the 289, when Carroll Shelby actually went ahead and started designing the GT350, he basically used it in that first, Shelby Mustang, the 65 GT350. And Carroll Shelby actually stuck with the 289 up until the year 1967, when he eventually went with a big block and started, making those GT500s. I know, jumping back ahead into the time of the modern Mustang in the 21st century, at the number 2 spot, I have to include the 5-liter Coyote engine. Now, this engine originally debuted in 2011, and guess what? It's still being used in Mustangs today, and recently with the 7th gen S650 Mustang reveal, I have no doubt that this Coyote is going to, it's either already surpassed or it is going to surpass like the longest stint for a single engine in a Mustang with this new generation of the Mustang. Now, essentially over its 4 generations, it's gotten better and better and better, with the first generation again debuting in 2011, and more recently the 3rd generation, which is technically still the highest output, making 460 horsepower and 420 foot-pounds of torque right from factory. The 7th generation of the Mustang, now there's going to be a 4th gen Coyote, and that 4th gen Coyote has a couple things different about the other Coyote engines. Probably the most notable feature, and the one that people I feel like have just been talking the most about, is the double throttle body design in the new intake manifold of the 4th generation of this Coyote engine. And also, Ford stated in the release of the 7th generation of the Mustang that the GTs are targeted to make 480 horsepower from factory, while the new Dark Horse Mustang, which still does feature a 4th gen Coyote engine, is actually going to be targeted to make around like 500 horsepower. So we've seen this Coyote engine time and time again over the course of the last decade just be a phenomenal power plant. And also, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below, but this Coyote engine was also the very first factory Ford Mustang engine to actually come with a double overhead cam instead of just a traditional like overhead valve design. And I think it was also the first factory Ford Mustang engine to come with 4 valves per cylinder. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost certain that this Coyote engine was the first one to come with like that new modern design. Now, before we get to number 1, I do want to have a few honorable mentions that I have written down here. Most notably, the 4 kind of honorable mentions with 8 cylinders has got to be the 5-liter Windsor V8 that was found in the Fox body Mustangs, that 4.6 liter 3-valve V8 found in the 05 to 09 Mustang GTs, which just sounded so amazing, the Boss 302, which is found in 1969 to 1970, and also that Ford 29, which again is the highest displacement engine ever in a factory Ford Mustang. Now, also just a few honorable mentions for Mustangs that didn't come with 8 cylinders. I gotta give a shout out to, again, that 170 cubic inch 6-cylinder that came in the original 1964.5 Mustangs. And honestly, to me, when I think of just a classic Mustang, I kind of think back to the 176 cylinder Mustangs that were offered in that first year. And I would love to own like a 6-cylinder 1964.5 red Mustang one day before I die. I don't know why, but I'm just infatuated with those older Mustangs. Now, also, I gotta give a quick shout out to the 2.3 liter turbo inline 4 that was found in the SVO Fox body Mustangs, as well as the new and modern 2.3 liter turbo inline 4 that's found in the new EcoBoost, and also the final engine that I do have to mention that doesn't have 8 cylinders has got to be the 4 liter 2-valve per cylinder V6 found in the 05 to 09 factory Mustangs, because in the Shelby CS6s, which I think that only 17 were made in the entire world, that's actually the highest output factory Mustang that doesn't have 8 cylinders. And I also do believe that that is the one and only Mustang ever made by Carroll Shelby that, again, doesn't have 8 cylinders as well. You can correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but now, without wasting any more time, moving into probably my absolute favorite engine that was ever in a Ford Mustang, I gotta go with the 5.8 liter Trinity engine found in the 2013 to 2014 GT500s. Again, this modern engine is a double overhead cam 4-valve per cylinder design, and it also was the engine to go in the very last Mustang that Carroll Shelby had a hand in making before his untimely death in 2013. It has a 2.3 liter supercharger from factory, and it also powered the very first 200 mile per hour top speed Mustang. The 2014 GT500, I've said it time and time again on my channel, it's my absolute favorite Mustang of all time. I had the pleasure of actually reviewing one. If you want to check it out, that video will be linked on top of this video right now. Also very similar to like the 428 Cobra Jet engines, this engine was said to make right around 660 horsepower from factory. However, it was severely detuned. The intake was very choked up from factory, and pretty much all you need to make ridiculous power with this engine is a cold air intake, which normally doesn't really make that much of a difference, a smaller pulley, and just strap it on a dyno and send it to a tuner, and you'll probably reliably be making high 600s to low 700 wheel horsepower just on a consistent basis. But let me know what you guys think of my list down in the comments below. I'm gonna edit in my picks on the side of the video right now, so you can just do a quick overview or whatever. But thank you guys so much for sticking to the end of today's video. Again, let me know if I was wrong about any of my picks down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new. If you've already been subscribed, click that little bell to turn on post notifications. It helps me out a ton as a smaller car YouTuber that posts new content daily. But I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. If you enjoyed today's video, click on either of these links right here to watch a similar video from this channel, or click on the little circle link right there to actually subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. I do appreciate all the support, but thank you for sticking to the end of this video, and I hope you have a fantastic day.